The sequel to ARK Survival Evolved is ARK 2. It will debut on PC and next-generation consoles and will be a survival sandbox game similar to the first one, as was confirmed at the Game Awards in 2020. The events of ARK 2 will occur on a brand new planet. The Sunday trailer implied that dinosaurs were still alive and had accompanied their human masters on their travels. What other threats the players may face is unknown. But before we get into it, do me a favor and smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button for notifications whenever a new video is published. When ARK Survival Evolved was first launched in 2017, it quickly became viral. It combines survival gaming with intricate handicrafts and prehistoric animal training. The game offers players a lengthy and exciting trip from the beaches, through its underground dungeons, and beyond. It features both simple weaponry and far more sophisticated armor and guns. In January 2019, Microsoft introduced ARK to the Xbox Game Pass library, and it has been a part of the service ever since. Release date. Originally scheduled for release in 2022 and announced in 2020, ARK 2's release date was pushed back to a vague 2023 during the Xbox and Bethesda showcase in 2022. It shouldn't come as much of a surprise, though, as Studio Wildcard postponed ARK 2 until 2023 given that we went 2 years without an update and the significant impact the current COVID-19 pandemic has had on production pipelines. Like the first ARK, this game is probably going to have an early access period. There is no official date announced yet. Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel is still involved with the film and is prominently displayed in the trailer. The new trailer adds that the real-time footage was shot in Unreal Engine 5 and that the Xbox console exclusive is also anticipated to be available for Windows PC. The game will feature the same gameplay and fan-favorite dinosaurs, but it will also be more detailed and have a bigger story. The addition of Vin Diesel, the actor most known for the Fast and Furious series, has, however, been the new trailer's most talked about character. Ollie Cravalho, the breakout star of Disney's Moana, portrays Santiago's daughter Mika, while Vin Diesel plays Santiago. Fans of ARK were taken aback by the actor's participation in the game and have had different concerns about it. Vin Diesel expressed his excitement for the game and his self-described status as a gamer on his own Instagram profile, writing, "Any real gamer is excited for ARK 2. This passion for the game and Diesel's self-described status as a gamer has won over many fans of the franchise. Other fans, on the other hand, are dubious about his participation, labeling it a money grab for the business and an ego boost for him. Many continue to question if Diesel is a good match for any acting roles in video games, much less one where the primary focus is on surviving in hostile areas without the aid of others. Some fans have also criticized his acting in his films, saying that his manner and quality of acting may potentially damage the entire game or even the franchise. Some fans, meanwhile, have remained enthusiastic, asserting that his participation would persuade more people to download the game and interact with the franchise's fanbase. ARK 2 story. It takes a lot of effort to figure out the plot of ARK Survival Evolved, as anyone who has spent a lot of time with the game will agree. By no means is it a traditional story, and there is still plenty to be done to reach those in-game cutscenes. However, ARK 2 appears to be taking a more accessible tack. Vin Diesel, who will portray Santiago, the main character in ARK 2, was first seen in the most recent trailer. If ARK 2 has a main narrative, it's unclear what it is. Vin Diesel might play a non-player character, NPC, in the open world or he might be a playable character. Creating a silly-looking player character is all there is to it in the first game. Regardless of the story, it appears that there are hostile humanoids that look like monsters in the game, which wasn't the case in the first game. At least not when I played it. A fully developed story with one of the most well-known Hollywood actors will undoubtedly do the trick if ARK 2 wants to differentiate itself from its predecessor and establish itself as a AAA title. It's not what I anticipated from the Tiny Dinosaur game, which debuted on Xbox in early access back in 2017. We only know that ARK 2 takes place because at the very end of ARK Survival Evolved, Vin Diesel's character is shown exiting his pod and landing on a new world. It takes place on a colony ship with 2 ring worlds in ARK Genesis Part 2. One is corrupted by the game's major antagonist Rockwell, and towards the game's conclusion, Rockwell's corrupted ring world begins to collide with an unidentified gas planet. The other ring world, which is still left behind and floating through space, begins dropping escape pods filled with survivors onto a nearby planet that resembles Earth. Most likely, the planet we see in the ARK 2 teaser is this one, a copy of the legendary character Santiago da Costa from ARK Survival Evolved. The drawing of HLNA that can be seen in the ARK 2 video suggests that the survivor, also known as the main character from the first ARK Survival Evolved, made it to the planet. Therefore, even though Vin Diesel will probably play the lead role in ARK 2, we might get to meet the protagonist from the first 2 ARK video games. This is likely where ARK 2 will take place, in this new primitive world we see before the credits roll on Genesis Part 2. ARK 2 gameplay. Since the last ARK, it has undergone a lot of change, with the addition of aliens, more robot, dinosaurs, dragons, space battles, and David Tennant. Although the teaser makes ARK 2 appear rather tame in comparison to the first game, it's uncertain what ARK 2 has in store for us. It's also likely that ARK 2 is pushing the reset button and starting over before allowing players to engage in fully formed mecha battles with monsters, although the previous game began out similarly. However, when I played ARK, it had a completely different tone, therefore ARK May 2nd have a tone that is very different from the first. It will ideally be easier to introduce more advanced technology. However, we won't be certain until the upcoming trailer is out. We are certain that Unreal Engine 5 will power ARK 2. The fundamental player mechanics are at the forefront of these redesigns. The controls and movement for both players and monsters have been entirely revamped in the sequel, which is only played in the third person. Player characters can now clamber over the environment in a more realistic and freeform manner by drawing inspiration from video game systems like Assassin's Creed's automatic parkour and Breath of the Wild's climbing. With an emphasis on prehistoric combat, Santiago and Tech have a tense relationship. For its human-scale fighting, ARK 2 largely borrows from Souls-like action, emphasizing dodges, blocks, light and heavy attacks, combinations, and player reflex skill rare in the PvP survival genre. Suffice it to say for the time being that in creature-scale combat, when you use your T-Rex to attack something in ARK 2, the results are visceral. The animation of the attack hard impacts on the target, not passing through it, the victim's flesh is torn, and the target physically reacts to the hit at that location, all to convey the feeling of the raw power of such a ferocious creature. Other new features. The World Event System is another area that thrills us greatly. The new World Event System is intended to ensure that unique things are always happening around the world, whether you are there or not, as opposed to having a more or less static setting with readily predicted or repeating events from the first game. Events involve procedurally dynamic situations such as the watering hole, gatherings, injured creatures, monitoring the signs of advancing prey, stampedes, herds, protecting endangered creatures to gain their trust, locating burrows of parent creatures and their young, and more. It is entirely up to you whether you choose to participate in these events, each of which has its rewards and difficulties. There are far too many other fundamentally different aspects of ARK 2 to list here, including the new opposing force known as Aratai who have their own tame, the new creature management and proper world map systems, the sophisticated component-based item crafting that allows players to pick exactly how their gear looks and functions from millions of possible combinations, or the redesigned build system that offers countless more building options and allows saving and sharing of build. Temp. Soon, you'll get to witness the first gameplay trailer for ARK 2. And we think you'll appreciate what you see. The Xbox version of ARK 2 now supports fully stackable, user-created mods, including those hosted on unofficial servers, thanks to official mod support from Mod.io, likely leaving the best feature for last. As a result, PC version modders will be able to upload their creations to the cloud and make them accessible to console users as well. Their aim with ARK 2 is to create the game that we all wanted ARK to be, now that we have the time, tools, and expertise to do it properly. Are you excited for the release? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Before leaving, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications on our future content. With that being said, see you in the next one.